An uncanny blue eye with a rainbow glint opens. There's no mistaking it. It is Kurisu's eye. But something is off. It's beautiful. No denying that. Ah, that's why. It is Amadeus, the AI powered by human emotions. This scene is worrying. Amadeus is on a cracked screen. It is a yellowed and dusty scene, with computer components and hard drives haphazardly scattered nearby. The image of Kurisu disappears, and only the words Amadeus system remain on the screen, hinting at the bleak future that awaits. The music, Fatima, performed by Itou Kanako, opens with a ticking like a clock, yet its tempo is quicker than any clock, producing a sense of unease and unrest and urgency in the listener. This calls back to the opening from the visual novel of Steins Zero, which had literal imagery of a ticking clock. This is the Steins Zero anime OP. I'm the Revenite, and let's take a deep dive into symbolism and hidden meanings in this OP. The chord drops and we dive into the screen. It's just like diving into the digital door in the visual novel OP. Transitioning to a black space with fast-moving fractal patterns. It's like an inversion of the imagery from Hacking to the Gate, the original Steins Gate OP. The silhouette of turning gears briefly flashes on the screen as we continue deeper into the dark space. Divergence numbers flash on the screen. 0.214368. An alpha attractor field number. 1.325479. A beta attractor field number. 2.236580. A gamma attractor field number. 3.547691. A delta attractor field number. 4.658702. An epsilon field attractor number. 5. Hold up. These just look to be random divergence numbers. I've checked my sources. None of these numbers match up with any known world lines, so random divergence numbers flicker by on their wonderful NixieTube aesthetic. What's this? A pair of familiar boots flash by. Blink, and you'll miss them. This world is not even real at all. It's just a vision pulled over our eyes. These convey a fundamental truth about reality. What we see isn't reality, but an illusion created by our brain that it can understand. In this context, it could be hinting at the reality of the universe in Steins Gate, that there are countless world lines that could exist, but only one exists at any given moment. Reaching the light, it fills the screen. We catch a brief glimpse of 3 crows flying up into the sky as the image is blown out by the sun. A hand with the sleeve clad in white reaches out, but the sun quickly fades and is replaced by a sky filled with dark, gloomy clouds. And a single crow crosses the screen, dropping a few feathers. Crows are said to be a sign of bad omens. Sometimes they are seen as messengers from the afterlife. Okabe stands alone in the empty gray frame, isolated, showing us his loneliness. As the camera cuts in closer, he pulls it back, presumably thinking back to the events of that summer, and remembering. Then the image of Okabe literally shatters, symbolizing the broken state of his mind, from witnessing the countless deaths of Mayuri in the Alpha world line, and his utter and complete failure to save Kurisu in this Beta world line. At the point of infinity, a mundane cosmos is overwriting all the values I know. These hint at world lines changing, but being outside of the control of Okabe. These broken pieces seem familiar. Oh, that's it? These are right out of the ED from the original Steins Gate. The supporting characters are reflected in the shattered pieces. We see Amane Suzuha standing still in the middle of Chuodori as average people flow past in both directions. Her standing still represents her position as a time traveler, a person out of time, standing alone against the flow of the universe. Moeka and Maho pass each other on the stairs. Luca and Ferris at the shrine. Leskinen in what appears to be some kind of lab. Ah, there it is. The shattered hourglass comes back together. If some arrogant god thinks they've seized control and keeps pulling the strings at the speed of light, again, the idea of the changes in the world lines are being the result of manipulations by others, but also a willingness to rebel against those who would control them. The gears of the universe keep turning, and we see the imagery of the crows again. Mayuri's cosplay companions stand on a bridge the train rolls underneath. The camera jumps in closer to focus on the most important individual of this group, Amane Yuki, as she looks up, possibly thinking about something or pondering something. Two gears come together, revealing the fated lovers, Hashida Itaru and Amane Yuki, father and mother of Suzuha. With a snowy white wipe, the scene abruptly transitions to a shot of Shina Mayuri, alone in a windy snowstorm. The wide shot lingers for about 5 seconds before cutting to a close shot of Mayuri, with her eyes closed for another 4 to 5 seconds, before she opens them up, then abruptly looks up and straight to the viewer. Then just I alone, I'm fine being that miracle, that lethal minority. These lines would seem to present the idea of potentially being the only one that could kill that arrogant god pulling the strings, to find a way to Steins Gate and escape from the fate of convergence. Then the music references the opening lines, with the ticking clock sound. While the image changes to a multitude of snowflakes, all reflecting Mayuri, the camera quickly pulls back, jumping with each tick of the clock. These scenes symbolize Mayuri's loneliness, as her oldest friend, Okarin, has become more distant from her after the events of the summer. The snowflakes are another direct reference to the Steins Gate visual novel OP, as seen in this shot of Mayuri. Whoa, hold up. Go back and slow it way down. At first glance, you'd think that would be Kurisu, but no. That's not right. That should be Shina Kagari, the little girl we saw with Mayuri in 2036 early in the first episode. If that moment, if that place was something you thought was special to you, this one seems appropriate, given that the scene in the background is Akiba and Kurisu is there, but it's out of reach of Okabe for now. Again, we see running feet now, clearly being Okabe's feet. But then, that familiar pair of boots again. Okabe is running after Kurisu. She turns around and reaches out to Okabe. He struggles to reach out, desperate to reach her. He almost seems to fall. But there's no hope. As he reaches her, she fades and distorts, hinting at her current intangibility, and she slips past him. The past doesn't have to be memories that simply drift away. The way that Kurisu just fades away when this line is said is absolutely heartbreaking in context. These shots again reference the Steins Gate visual novel OP, albeit in a far more dramatic fashion. Then a panning time-lapse shot of the Akiba skyline that first transitions from clear blue skies back to cloudy gray skies and snow as it becomes night, and the long exposure of the starry sky comes a moment in time where we again see that time machine on the roof as Farikan. Mayuri reaches for the starry sky with Suzuha watching, as though calling to the universe in silence. Instead of the pain of being hurt, everything about that precious scene will become a light and give birth to zero. These final lines before the end give me the sense that Okabe will eventually overcome the past that continues to hurt him and escape from it, leading into the final lines. Okabe will obviously get to Steins Gate, a world that's not tied to fate, and clearly, a wonderful new world.